Hi everyone, this is Andrei Marasoiu from the University of Bucharest, and I'm going to try to do my best to give a 15 minutes presentation of my talk, Justified by Thought Alone. I want to start by saying I'm very grateful to the Aristotelian Society and the Mind Association, and to the local organizers who've done a splendid job in making sure they bridge us over this pandemic. And without further ado, let me just very quickly jump into my presentation. So this is a paper that's now forthcoming in Logos and Episteme. And I'm very happy it's finally out. But I'd be very grateful for any input. Don't hesitate to write and to let me know if you have questions, you have comments. Okay. So here's an example. Here's the sort of thing I want to talk about. Suppose you believe that a surface cannot be wholly red and green all over. What justifies your belief? You could say, all it takes is for you to understand the proposition you believe in order for that belief to be justified. When you carefully consider what it is for a surface to be red and what it is for it to be green, you couldn't but realize that no surface could be both red and green all over. So in ascertaining why you believe this, all you need to do is aptly use concepts you possess. The proposition that a surface cannot be red and green all over then strikes you as true. Your belief is a priori justified, or so the thought goes. But there's a problem. Crucially, a priori justifications were independent from experience. But the phrases I've just emphasized, used in italics in the slide before, sound very much like you're undergoing conscious cognitive experiences of thinking. You come to understand the proposition. It dawns on you. You now fully grasp it. You carefully consider what the proposition says. You compare it to your own conceptions of red and green. You weigh if there's anything that might make you doubt it in the least. You ascertain, grasp, apprehend, represent in imagination the truth of this proposition. You hold it before your mind's eye. You perceive its truth. All these are conscious experiences of thinking. So how could it be? That's the puzzle. That's the problem. How could it be that some belief you hold, say that a surface cannot be red and green all over, is a priori justified? And you know this because you undergo all of these experiences of thinking. And yet, any justification based on experience is an a posteriori justification. That's the justification it's liable to have. And so there seems to be a mismatch here. Either you fully take on board the idea that cognitive experiences are experiences, and then beliefs that are based on them are a posteriori justified because they're justified by appeal to these experiences, or you deny that there is any such thing as the relevant cognitive experiences that I was just mentioning, right? Apprehending, grasping, carefully considering, representing in imagination, perceiving the truth, and so on. You deny that there is any such thing. And then you can go on to say that the beliefs in question that you hold say that a surface couldn't ever be red and green all over, is a priori justified, having no experiences that the formation or justification or validation or verification of such belief relies upon. Right? In some sense, were you to have any of such experiences, right, ascertaining, apprehending, etc., they would be immaterial, they would be by the way, they would be irrelevant, they would be nice extras to the very justification of the belief you hold. For that's what it would take to make that belief a priori, right? In contradistinction, if you think the a priori character of the belief couldn't withstand criticism in the absence of such experiences of thought, then an account is due of what that a prioricity is. Because if a priori means independent of experience, surely those cognitive experiences are experiences themselves. So let's try to flesh the thought out a bit. It might be a bit provocative. It might challenge the way we use words like a priori or experience or cognitive or thought. Okay, let's see how it goes. Here's an argument. Intuitions or experiences. So any justification based on intuitions is based on experiences. No a priori justification is based on experiences. So no a priori justification is based on intuitions. I think this argument holds good. I think the premises are true, and I think the conclusion's true. And I think whenever the premises are true, so is the conclusion. But this spells trouble for a particular brand of rationalism that has invoked a priori justification of late, illustrated by Larry Bonjour and by George Beeler. Okay, so here's what Larry Bonjour says. We've got a bunch of grasping, apprehending. These are acts. These are acts of insight, and these are acts of rational insight. Okay, so you see that there's a lot of experiential talk here. Okay? Proposition whose necessity is apprehended in this way. So it's not just the necessity that counts, it's the apprehension. Okay? And here's Beeler, right? Well, Beeler says, it just seems to you that something's true, right? It seems to you the surface couldn't be red and green all over. Suddenly, it just seems true. Snap, okay? It strikes you as true. These are all experiential terms, right? It doesn't seem to you to be false. It doesn't strike you to be false. Just think, could a surface be red and green all over? Well, if you think it couldn't, if you think it's just metaphysically impossible, then you're going to have a sort of bewildering sense of incoherence as you contemplate that conceptual possibility. Right? What would it even mean? I can't imagine a surface that's red and green all over, right? And so it seems as though both Bonjour and Beeler want to support this a priori justification of beliefs based on some cognitive experiences. It strikes you as true. You apprehend the necessity. It would feel incoherent, absurd, off if things turned out to be different. Right? And so there's a tension here. If these are experiences, if these are genuine experiences, if you have an associated phenomenology, and if that phenomenology is constitutive to your coming to think what you do, to your forming the beliefs that you do, to your basing those beliefs the way you do, then why aren't those beliefs just based in those cognitive experiences? Why aren't they justified a posteriori rather than a priori? That's the puzzle here. And so notice the challenge here doesn't just apply to synthetic justification, it also applies to analytic justification. Right? So consider whatever you take to be your favorite analytic statement. Okay. So suppose you identify cardinal numbers with a representative sequence of sets, and then you just churn out counterparts of Peano's axioms from that set theory as theorems. Okay, what are you doing there? Right? Surely this is an exercise. Paul Halmos recommends this wholeheartedly. Every student in set theory should do this. But what are you doing? You need to keep track of assumptions throughout. You need to represent yourself what a solution looks like. You need to make sure you haven't misapplied any rules or axioms. Okay? Here's the bottom line. Problem-solving phenomenology is rich, varied, and primarily cognitive. Okay? You can't just get rid of that. That's part and parcel of what it is to solve the exercise. If you solve the exercise like a zombie, right, there's something you'd be missing. Okay? And so why would the results in question, why would the beliefs in question be a priori rather than a posteriori? Okay. This is another example with induction. Okay, this is another example with colors. Here's the bottom line. You could say something like this. Look, the experiences of thinking about these things are just a gateway. They make me see something I hadn't seen beforehand. They make me aware of something I wasn't aware of beforehand. They enable me to come to the truth. But the truth was there, irrespective of my apprehension of it. Right? You could say that. Okay? You could say that such experiences of thought enable us to see why some beliefs are true, but what those beliefs are based in is independent of our experiencing it. You could say that. But that's a notion of propositional justification. What I'm interested in, and what Beeler and Bonjour and others, the new rationalists, are interested in, is a kind of doxastic justification, where, just to remember Bonjour's quip, it's not just the necessity that matters, it's apprehending the necessity. Okay? It's our being in cognitive contact with that mind-independent, putatively mind-independent reality that matters. Okay? And so here, it's this question of doxastic justification, sort of traditionally Cartesian notion, right? why are the ensuing beliefs a priori rather than a posteriori, right? If we take the cognitive phenomenology of our daily experiences seriously, why do we misclassify those beliefs as a priori? Or why do we misclassify our episodes of thought as non-phenomenal? It seems as though we could debate those things, but there is no reason, no a priori reason, if you want to put it that way, why we should definitionally prejudge the issue of the purport of our experiences of thought with respect to the necessities that are thus being apprehended. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions. If you want to read a fuller version of what I want to say about this, at least initially, please don't hesitate to read the paper. Just shoot me an email and I'll be glad to send it. Let me just say that I'm very grateful for input and criticism and questions and feedback from a lot of people. I'm grateful to the Research Institute of the University of Bucharest for hosting me. And here are some references to Jordan Beeler, Paul Bogosian, Larry Bonjour, and Chris Peacock. Thank you. And I look forward to your questions and input.